Welcome to the channel, folks. Clunkers and Classics. Where this episode, we're going to paint the Hot Rod Nova Hot Rod Black. Satin black, matte black, flat black, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so left off last episode. Did all the Bondo work, body work, fixing dents, rust. Not a lot of rust, a few little rust spots. Didn't do no body work on the hood, roof, or trunk. The trunk, it's not too bad, I don't think. Well, we did fix a few little rust holes right in here. But other than the flat part of it, there's probably going to be some dents, like small hail dents. Same with the roof. I know there's a dent here, but mainly started off stripping it with that phosphoric acid, because it was just the whole top surface of this car was just rust, and we got rid of that, sanded it down, and primed it. So I don't think I'm going to fix any dents on it. I didn't really feel any, like I said, other than a few little ones. I don't buy spot putty. It's too expensive. These little spots here were rust spots. They've all been treated, and this is where that piece of chrome was that was missing. So there's little whatever, you can see them here. I'm going to use a little Bondo and put in there. So we got to go over the car. A few little spots like this. We'll put some Bondo in and smooth that out. Other than that, well, the hood is wasted, basically. It's dented up. It could be fixed, but I'd spend, a couple of days straightening it out and blocking it and priming it and reblocking it. And this was all, it had the concourse custom chrome around here. You got to put some Bondo on these little spots here too. If you're using spot putty, that's what you would use it for. So we took that chrome off, and there was big rust holes here. Just filled them in with some Bondo glass. I'm going to put a little Bondo there too. But yeah, it's all dented, warped. For this car to be perfect, you would need to replace the hood. And I don't have one, and I'm not going to go hunting for one. I don't care. Okay, so this black is some guide coat. I showed you how that works last episode. I did this quarter panel, and this deck lid's got some guide coat on it too. Now, didn't do no Bondo work on here, so it's not going to have any big scratches or anything. I DA'd it down with 80, a couple of good coats of primer. Hopefully we can get away with just sanding this down with like 320-400 grit and just paint over it. If not, if it gets down to the metal and all that, we'll give it a final prime. No big deal. So we put the black guide coat, and I sanded down this area here and reprimed it. So this quarter panel, all it needs to be down is scuffed down with like 320-400 grit, and it's ready to paint. So what we'll do on this episode is we got to go over the rest of the car, block it all down, mainly all the Bondo work. Wherever the dents were, there's a big crease down here. We just need to block all that out, get all the pinholes, sand scratches, stuff like that out, and then reprime it, and then it'll be like the quarter panel. Just scuff it, shoot it. Okay, so that's basically what we got to do to the whole car. Although, like I said, maybe we don't have to reprime the hood, roof, and trunk. we'll see. We'll take some 320 to it here later. And then this side just has to be sanded down, reprimed, and then it's ready to scuff and shoot too. It's just a cheap car. Get comments, oh, when are you gonna paint it fancy and white and stripes, and you know, like some of my other cars here, you know, the Silverado, the Camaro, got the other 78 Nova there I did a few years ago, you know, painted it nice silver with black stripes and everything. No, this is a cheap car that I don't want to spend the time on to make it perfect and spend money on fancy paint, two-tone paint, all that stuff. So we're just going to paint everything flat black. Not going to paint the jams under the trunk. Should probably paint underneath the hood black. I don't know. Well, like I said, the hood really needs to be replaced to be perfect. So yeah, probably not. So yeah, mainly what's killing this car is the interior. None of the interior stuff is available. I mean, all the plastics and stuff that's all deteriorated, crumbled, falling apart. So to make this car really nice, you can't do it unless you really hunt for parts and spend a lot of time and gas going to junkyards trying to find the stuff, because it's not, nobody makes it. You know, you can replace stuff like the carpet and get some seats and stuff, but as far as the rest of it, it'll always look shitty. Like I said, unless you spend the time and the money to go hunting, and this car just ain't worth it. The value of it's not there. You got to do a fine line on these cars. Unless you buy this car and you really want it and you're going to keep it forever and all that stuff. You're going to have your firstborn in the back seat and all, you know, great. But if you're, I always have the mindset of what it's going to be worth fixed up, and I don't want to spend more on it than what it's worth, because it's just, you know, I'm not in love with the car. So yeah, you got to always think of when it comes time to sell, you better make some money on it, or you're working for free or losing money. So that's what it is, guys. You know, I don't even know how much I got into it. I paid $1,000 for it. I'll probably have another 1,000 into it with, you know, all the stuff I've done to it. Maybe not even that much, I don't know. So yeah, about $2,000 is probably maximum I'm willing to put into this car. So that's why we're not going all the way with it. And some people beg to differ. Oh, those cars are worth $10,000 up north. And yeah, well, I keep hearing that on all these cars, but nobody comes and buys them and goes up there and brings them back up north and doubles their money. So like the IROC, like the Silverado, down here, they're not worth that much. Not as much as people think. So that's why we're doing it this way, guys. We're not going all the way. Like I mentioned, was rust on the inside of the fender. You know, some of these cars that are worth more money, I'll take it all apart. Take all the front end apart, coat all the inside of the fenders with Pour 15 and paint them and put the whole car back together and all that. Some cars are worth it, this one's not. So every car I work on is going to be a little bit different due to that reason, okay? Another, you know, I wasn't going to spend $400 or $500 on all new taillight assemblies because the car's not worth spending that much money into it. I get comments, oh, spend the money, spend the money. No, it's my money. I'm going to spend it the way I want to. So we ended up with bought some LED cheap taillights, 20-something bucks. Had them on there. Most people didn't mind it, but there was a few that it just rubbed them the wrong way. Too cheesy, too cheap. So one of the subscribers just sent me a we put it on last episode. These LED lights here, I'll take the paper off later and show you, but send me better tail lights. So that's all you have to do. You know, if you don't like the tail lights, if you don't like the rims, if you don't like something, all you got to do is send me the parts and I'll put them on. If you want to pay for them, fine. Okay, so that's where we're at with the whole build, basically. So this episode we're going to sand her down, reprime most of it, and I'll just show you what I do. Secret to a good paint job is always to wash it. So at the end we're going to wash the whole thing down really good, get all the old dust. There's, you know, it's been off the road since '98. There's 26 years of leaves and dirt and stuff just embedded and caked. Took all the chrome off. It was just embedded everywhere. We got to get all that off. We had these deals here. Window coverings off. It was just packed full of rust, leaves, all kinds of bullshit. So yeah, we got to get all that shit off there. Well, mainly the dust. I just took the cowl off. That's the only thing I got left to strip and prime, is this cowl. And this car had original blue paint on it, except for this fender. This fender had been repainted. But yeah, I've sanded some of this stuff here. You're going to blow all that out. Wash all that stuff. Wash under the hood. Wash everything. Okay, then we got to clean out the shop here. It's not too bad. Get all this stuff out of the way. And we're going to paint her right here, using these lights. And using a cheap Harbor Freight gun. My little compressor right here. Okay, so I guess I'll put the heading on painting it for 115 bucks. I'll show you what I got. I'm actually using Summit brand. This is, I like this. It sprays good and it should last a while. It's been on my Avalanche for over a year. Still looks good, because I can't afford to build a big shop and put all these cars in the shop. Half these cars ain't even worth putting in undercover in a shop. You know, I spent thousands on carports here when I bought the place. But these carports and these carports, at least it'll keep the hail off, water mostly, and stuff. But I can't have just carports everywhere. Because when I put up the carports, they're basically permanent, because I concrete them down so the wind doesn't blow them away and stuff. So I can't, you know, I'd like to put some over here, but later on I might build a house or something there, so I don't want to put them there. I don't want to pack them all back here. Anyway, most of these cars stay outside, get weathered on, all that stuff. So the Avalanche over here is still pretty shiny after a year or so. My best paint that I like to use is this Nason 2K urethane. But it's got so expensive that I don't really buy it anymore. Last few gallons I've got have been through this paint place I buy paint from, like the silver metallic. I painted the stripes on the 77. They have a whole bunch of this stuff in the back room, and it's, you know, old stock. So I've been buying some of that. So anyway, we needed some hot rod flat black, and there it is, hot rod flat single stage acrylic urethane paint. It was 115 bucks through Summit, free shipping. Okay, but you're supposed to use hardener, but I have hardener because we won't be using a whole gallon. Probably only use maybe a half to 3/4 of a gallon on this, 2 or 3 coats, and that's it. Usually that's what I do with the paint. Like this black paint for the Malibu, I probably only used half of it because we did silver stripes. So I still got half of the hardener left. There's some reducer there. And then we got, I don't know what this is left over from. It can't be from the white. I'm not sure. But anyway, I already had some activator. You're supposed to use the activator hardener. So I already had some, so I didn't buy that. But these are, I don't know, 40 bucks, something like that. But I'm just going to put down 115 because we're only going to use half the paint and, you know, half of this. So even if you added half of 115 and half of 42, that's still not 115. So just to give you guys a guide, you know, if because I'll always use this flat black. You know, I have a quart here I use for stuff that I use that up. Finally used all that up, so whatever's left over here, I'll be using it for, you know, painting little parts and stuff like that, touching up stuff. So yeah, unless you're not in the building cars and painting stuff and all that, yeah, you'll probably just have that sitting in your garage, the leftover stuff. Okay, so that's what I'm marking it down. Now, I did mention last episode, basically we're using about 300 bucks worth of materials all together. Body filler, it didn't use that much, maybe not even half a gallon. Primer, about 80 bucks for, just open up the new can. I bought this cheap stuff off of eBay, 82 bucks a gallon. Gallon of primer. Sandpaper, I do 180 and 80 grit DA paper. They're about 30 bucks a roll. Masking tape, stuff like that. And then the paint. So basically everything's about 300 bucks. Paint and body work and paint. Paint and body work materials, 300 bucks. Okay, so that's what you can do your whole car for. And that's stripping her down to metal and all that stuff. So 300 bucks worth of materials and some labor, and you can do it too. So we got to put away a bunch of this stuff here. What you want to do is blow out your garage, get an air hose, blow all the dust out, close the doors. I leave this door open a little bit with this fan at the bottom, blowing the paint fumes out. So that's all I use. Get pretty good paint jobs other than bugs, and we don't know. A few episodes ago, just one night, all of a sudden a million little fly gnat things just appeared, covered the whole car of this. It was like an invasion. So we don't know, and it was out of nowhere the day before, and nothing, and then all of a sudden one night, boom, a million of them things. So you don't know if they're gonna, and then different seasons, you know, a few months it could be a whole batch of different bugs. So anyway, we just got to pick a good day. Just don't be in no rush to paint it. Wait for a good day. It's going back in the high 80s here, so the weather's going to be good for painting. You can't paint it when it's too cold. So yeah, that's basically how you do it. So I don't have to go over all this later. Blow out your shop. I don't wet down the floor. You can do a whole bunch of other stuff. You can wet down the floor and do this and do that, but I don't usually. I'm not doing show quality paint. Now, you know, and I don't buff them or nothing either. And that's the thing with flat paint. You can't buff it or else it'll go shiny. So you better make sure, and you can't get runs or anything like that in it because, like I said, you can't sand and buff it later or else you'll have shiny spots over it. So just be careful of that when you're painting flat black. Okay, so Gloss paint, you can fix little areas, buff it, keep it waxed, all that. So that's why I kind of wanted to do a little bit better paint than you could probably find cheaper flat black paint, but probably not by much. But if you're to add up 115 plus 42, you know, 160 bucks or whatever, you could probably find a kit for 120 or something. You could save 40 bucks. So basically we're paying $30-40 more for the Summit brand, because it is acrylic urethane instead of just acrylic, so it should last longer. We want it to last longer on this, because like I said, you can't buff it or anything. And okay, so yeah, lots of rambling, but I just want to get all that out of the way of what we're doing and how we're going to do it. So I'll give you some updates on the sanding. We'll go over some blocking on these doors and some more guide coat and all that. Do a little bit of that, but basically we're going to spend the majority of the last part of the video on painting it and seeing how it looks. Okay, so let me get started on sanding this. Like I said, I'm just going to put a little Bondo on some pinhole little areas, and then we'll guide coat this side. I'll show you that, and we'll start blocking and repriming. Okay, so I'll be back. Okay guys, we're going to put some guide coat on this side. I went over it in another video, but yes, a subscriber sent me some of this black powder stuff. You put it on like this. You don't want to spend the money on this. Just use some black spray paint, spray cans. And that's the other thing, guys. Even if you got a cheap car, do not paint your car with spray cans. Okay? Because the amount of spray cans you buy, the cost will equal buying a gallon of paint. I mean, 115 bucks for a gallon of paint. You'll spend over that in spray cans. And the spray cans have no hardener, so they'll always remain gummy. You can't repaint over them, you know. Let's say you spray can this whole car, and then, I don't know, a year or two later you decide that you want to, you want to put some real paint on it and make it shiny and all that. You're gonna have to strip all that stuff off. You're gonna have to strip it all down, take it all off, and it's a lot of time and stuff. So don't do it. And if you're selling it to somebody, you're just giving the new buyer a massive headache by doing all that, spray canning it. I know it's popular on YouTube, and even a lot of big YouTubers do it just for views, but I'm not like that. I'm not gonna, make a video on, oh, spray bomb your car, the turbo boost and all that. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay? And especially down here in the south, that stuff will fade off in months. Unless you keep it in a garage or undercover or whatever. Okay, so like I said, I put a little Bondo on here, a spot putty, and we'll sand that off when it dries. I'm just going to guide coat the rest of this side, and when I come back, we'll start block sanding. Okay, so I'll be back. Hey guys, I got some guide coat on this side, so I'm just going to use a block and some 180 grit, and we're just going to go. There's a lot of, not a lot, but I mean a lot of big Bondo spot. It's just a skim or so of Bondo to fix some dents, and there's Bondo all like here. So it's mainly what we got to block is all this stuff here. We just go like this, back and forth, circles. And you gotta You gotta use 2 hands, get all that stuff out of there, and keep blocking it. So you can see the 80 grit and 180. Well, I went over it with 180, but you're still gonna have 80 grit in it. But you can see the sand scratches and stuff there. But you want to just keep blocking it till all that's out of there. And if it doesn't come out, then that's where you use a little spot putty. So yeah, let me do this side, and I'll be back. Okay, guys, I got this area here blocked, just on the top. So that's what you want it to look like. You can see the body filler here. Everything's good. No, we have to go over. No, that's all. It's all out of there. So that's what you want the whole side to look like before you prime it. Okay, this deck lid, I got some 320 DA paper I bought a while back. I don't use it very often, but we'll use it on this deck lid. Normally I would block this with 180 and reprime it, but there's no Bondo work or nothing on here. So like I said, we're not doing any body work on the top, so we're just going to see. It's got a guide code on it. We'll just see what happens. You know, that stuff is gumming up the sandpaper. See that? And that old paper ain't sticking. See that stuff? That's what's making these gouges. They have to do it by hand or get a layer of it off and go over it again. But yeah, basically what it is, we strip this down the metal, and there's 80 grit DA scratches in there. Okay, well, some of it's from this crap here, but you need to get all that out. You don't want that showing up through the paint. So let's just anyway, I got a bunch of this stuff. I'm just gonna go over it, see if we can get all that out of there. Anyway, I just thought I'd show you that, and still gonna sand all this side here, get it ready to prime. I'll be back. Okay guys, I'm out here at night. I was hoping to sand it with 320 and then be ready to paint, but that wasn't the case. It's going down to the metal. So I took 180 and buzzed it all with 180, and it's just got an uppity dent right here and a few little dings and stuff right in there. But like I said, I'm not gonna fix anything on the top surfaces. I probably should, but okay. So I did the same with the roof, buzzed it all with 180 with the DA. It's got a few little dents there, but other than that, it's pretty good, other than all them little rust spots and stuff for the trim that went on there. But anyway, that's all ready to prime. So I'm fixing, and got this quarter panel all blocked out. So I'm fixing to prime the deck lid, the roof, and this quarter panel. So that'll be about half the car. And then I just got the front half to do. Now we can scuff her down and paint it. So let me put some primer on here, and I'll be back probably in the morning. Okay guys, I just figure I'll give you a shot here before it gets dark. Got did I show it? I got the whole back end primered last night. I don't know if I showed that or not. Whole back end in the roof. Okay, so I've been sanding the, got the door and the fender on this side sanded. All blocked down with 180 grit. Okay, and same with this door and fender. So those are all ready to prime. I just got to sand down the hood. I'm just going to do that with 180 grit on the DA. It doesn't need to be blocked or anything because I didn't do no body work and it's all dented up. I may regret not straightening up everything perfect, but it just takes more time. Okay. Yeah, and we got this, all this area here primed. Now all this area here is all ready to just scuff and shoot. So I'm just going to take some, like, whatever I got, 320, 400 grit, and just go like this. Knock down the little trash and stuff. I can feel stuff in there. And other than that, that's it. Just scuff it. It doesn't, you're not trying to sand out grind marks or anything because you already done that. This is just a coat of primer over the bare metal and stuff. Just scuff it and ready to paint. So, okay, fixing just sand the hood, paint that whole front end and the doors, and then just go over it. We're just got to hand sand all this crap here. Like I said, it's got holes in it. It's brittle. This rear fillers and the front fillers, I think this is metal here. So we'll sand that real good. Probably prime that. As far as these fillers here, I said they're all holes and stuff. I'm not going to do too much to them. They'll look kind of shitty, but and then the valance here, just got to prime that, and then we're pretty much done. Just scuff and shoot. So I'm shooting for the next day or two to paint it. Well, tomorrow I want to sand everything, wash it, clean out the shop, pull it in, and then Wednesday paint it. Okay, so that's the plan. That's the progress so far. I'll be back. Okay guys, next day. Forgot where I left off. I'm just trying to get through this video as fast as possible up to the paint stage, but anyway, it's all final prime. I got a few little spots here. I put some body filler, but this final prime, I've sanded it, scuffed it down, is ready to paint. Other than those little spots and about half the front end, half the front fenders and the hood, I've got to sand. And that's pretty much it. And then we can bring it over and pressure wash it down, get all this stuff off. I'll probably go over it. I got some seam sealer. I'm going to put some seam sealer probably just along this top edge here. Razor blade all this overspray off, stuff like that, and then wash it down. And then tomorrow, I started cleaning out the shop here. Tomorrow we'll bring it in here. We'll blow all this out, bring it in there, and paint it. And now it looks like transmission's leaking. I don't think it was leaking before, so something just happened to it. I'll have to check that out later, probably after I paint it. Got a bunch of work to do after it's painted. Usually I fix everything and paint is the last step, but we're kind of going a little different on this one. Let's get her all painted flat black and work on the rest of it later. Okay, I'll be back. Okay guys, just washed it all up with some soap, rinsed it off real good, and tomorrow morning gonna mask it, in the afternoon paint it. Yeah, I think I got enough room, a good spot for it right there. I adjusted this door. I just jacked it up with a piece of wood and a jack. jacked the bottom up, adjusted that striker up a little bit. She a lot better than sticking out. It was only hitting on the first click. Had to get the striker out and then up, and then it went in. That's 2 clicks. See, it's 1 click there. It's 2 clicks. I think this front door needs to be jacked up just a hair, because it's, you can tell when it's there. You open it, see. So I think I'll jack that one up. Not much you can do with these hinges. They're welded on the door and the pillar, so there's no adjustment to it. That door there, I pulled it up and down real hard, and I couldn't feel no looseness from the pins or bushings, so who knows? Who knows how it got all jacked up. But anyway, I'll be back tomorrow and we'll get her painted. Okay guys, it's all masked up. Got a little seam sealer just on the top of this, keep the water out, but I think the water's going to get in here. See, this had a vinyl top, so I think the vinyl top went on and this clipped over it, so it kept the water out. So that's why I'm leaving this open. That way if water gets in, it can drain out the bottom. I'm not going to seam seal that. Okay, so fixing to paint it. And this grill, I didn't realize it, it's all flaking, all the chrome. This bezel here, most of the chrome's flaked off. I kind of scuffed it up a little bit. We're going to use some, if I got any left, but I just bought another can. That Bulldog adhesion promoter. This stuff is like 48 bucks on eBay. I can't believe it. So I bought this U-Paul for about half price, 27 or something. That just came in. But anyway, we're going to use some adhesion promoter on the grill, them bezels, and all this plastic areas here, front and back, and spray some of that on there. I just went down and bought a new Harbor Freight gun. They were $14.99, and there was a sale, $9.99 a while back, and I bought 4 of them. 2 ended up being duds. This one here, it just all leaks out, like you put thinner. Well, the thinner's in there now, isn't there? No, there isn't. That's just a shadow. It was just all dripping out, so I should have probably brought it back. This one I've been using for a while. Been using primer in it. Best to, if you're gonna do a paint job, is start with a fresh gun. So I just went and bought 1. Hopefully it's not a dud. And we'll get that set up with the filter and regulator on there. Put that on there. Like I said, we got the hot rod black. We got the activator here. We're only going to be using about half. Going to probably put on 3 coats. The only thing we got to worry about is the bugs. So hopefully no bugs. So I think that's about it. I'll set you up with a GoPro up here or something. And well, I guess I'll have to move this. And show you me painting it there from a few different angles. I can't paint and carry around a camera at the same time, so I'll set you up over here, and then maybe, usually I put it up top over there so it shines down. So that's basically about it, guys. You can see the hardener into the paint, it's like 1 to 4, so you know, half a gallon takes half of this, or a quarter gallon takes a quarter. I will probably, if I got a clean can, mix half of it up with hardener, get that going. And if I need a little bit at the end, I'll mix in. But that's basically about it, guys. I'm going to put some adhesion promoter around this plastic piece too, because it's, you know, You can sand it, but it's all in the middle there. It might start flaking off. So yeah, other than that, guys, I think we're ready. So wish me luck, and next clip will be me painting it. So we'll see you later. Okay guys, it's been a little bit since I painted it. It's dry. It's pretty hot outside still, even at night. We got a little bit of black over there. I missed. But anyway, it was drying pretty fast. Didn't really have a chance for the bugs to settle in there. That's just 2 good coats. I used about 3/4 of that gallon. Didn't really have to thin it down with the reducer because it was pretty thin. So yeah, I don't even know if I could get a 3rd coat on there or not. With just a quart or so left. But anyway, it's a lot flatter than I thought it would be. I thought it'd kind of be a medium in between gloss and flat primer looking stuff. Yeah, there's nothing stuck in here. It's drying too fast. Probably can't see too good there. These are just, yeah. But anyway, that's it. That's the hot rod black, the hot rod look we wanted. Just kind of make it look like it's unfinished type thing, or you could bring it to the next stage and gloss it all up with stripes and all that stuff. But for now, it's just a primered looking car, but it's actual paint, so it's going to last a whole lot longer than primer. And it's not going to, you know, primer, you can't leave primer on a car real long, especially in the south. The sun will bake it off and water will penetrate through it and all that stuff. So that's why it's better to put a couple of coats of paint on it. That way it's protected. Okay, so yeah, I think that's about it. Next episode we'll put her together. Ain't a whole lot to put together, but I got some weather stripping for the doors, a few other little things. Oh, the windshield. I'm gonna go tomorrow and see if I can go order a windshield and get that the next day. So may have a windshield installation on the video. Just some other stuff possibly. So yeah, subscribe if you haven't. Like, comment, share, all that stuff, and let me know what y'all think about it. I know some people already said, oh, I hate flat black, but you know, like I said, this is kind of the theme of the car, which, you know, you can't really, this hood is hammered, but you can't really tell. If it was shiny, you could tell. So you can barely see these dents here, and these are pretty, you can feel them. So that's kind of what I wanted, even though I slicked out the sides. If you wanted to save about 3 days work, then you wouldn't do the body work on the sides either, and just paint over them too. But anyway, if I want to bring it to the next level later on down the road, sides are slicked out. Just a few little, see, you can't even see these dents on the, I know there's some dents right here. You can't even tell. So if I wanted to slick it out, a few little dents there, a couple here, and a new hood. But I don't think this car will get that far. But anyway, that's it, guys. Next video, we'll get her outside unmasked, and hopefully a new windshield and put together, put the cowl back on, try to fix some other stuff, maybe put on some gauges. Got some new sets of gauges here. Just a bunch of little stuff, and see where it goes from there. Okay? So thanks everybody for watching. We'll see y'all next video.